this is Chaz, your memory man. And today I actually become your personal memory coach. And I do want to congratulate you on purchasing the Guaranteed Results Memory System that will dramatically improve your memory for the rest of your life. Now, we did give you a pre-page that said we need you to print out in black and white pages 12 through 24 because you're going to need them while I go through this video. So if you haven't, pause the video and print them out in black and white again, and then come back and restart the video. So first of all, before you actually start this video, it really wouldn't be a bad idea. You can do it after also, but read pages 1 through 11 so it'll help you get the whole contents about the memory system, our memory, and it'll make it all fit in. You'll learn my story better, and it'll help you understand what we're going through in training. We're going to go through 3 different memory systems and training systems for the overall system that we're doing. The first one that we're going to go over is pages 12 through 16. That is the section when you're watching TV or a movie, you see someone very famous. You've known them forever. And when you see their face, you just draw that blank and you can't recall them. That is where the hippocampus comes in, and I'll explain it when we show it. The second section that we're going to talk about is called memory mining and also music mining. And this area is in pages 17 through 20. So this is the area where we show you to go back 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years and literally find memories that you didn't even know you had forgotten. And the last section is about your short-term memory problems and ways to improve it. Again, our system is not designed for short-term memory, but this is our bonus to you as a company so you can learn both long-term memory to improve that and both short-term memory. So let's start with the first section at 12 through page 16. These are the pages. This is number 12. And all I want you to do on 12 is just read the whole page. The reason we need to read the page before you go to the steps, it explains what the steps are for and gives you enough content so you understand the steps easier. The next page that I want you to read is a full page of page 13. Again, it does the same thing as number 12. And 14, we want you to read that page before you go to the steps. Now, you're going to start the actual steps on page 15. These are steps 1 through 4. Now, what this does for you, it actually does when you see someone that you can't remember, or really it's not remember, but recall it. Because remember, when memories are in your long-term memory warehouse, you never really forget them. It is just a matter that the hippocampus that we've explained before doesn't recall them. So that's a critical part to understand. You're not losing the memory. So you and a friend were watching TV, you see somebody go, man, they're famous. I can't believe I can't know their name. You turn to your friend or family member and you say, who's that? And they say, oh, it's Denzel Washington. Wow. Well, you say, yeah, I know Denzel. So you did know it was in your long-term memory. It was your recall mechanism, the hippocampus, that didn't work. So the first thing we teach you in these steps, these 5 steps, is to how to re-engage that memory up here in your current conscious mind so you now know that's Denzel Washington, okay? Now, once we do that, the rest of all of the steps on page both 15 and 16 are just designed to re-lock that memory in so you can recall them like you were younger when your memory was perfect, where you can remember everything. And in these steps, even though you can learn something with our system if you just learn a couple steps here and there, but you want to have a great memory, so I want you to follow the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and do them in order. And there are some things in our memory system that you might think are odd or a little weird or funny. One of the things we teach you, once you have already re-engaged that memory system, that memory, and then you're moving to another level, we ask you to sing the name. Why? Because when you were young and you learned the ABCs, it was like A, B, C, D, songs or rhymes help you remember. So, Denzel Washington. Now you can know that I have a great memory now, but I can't sing for sure. But if you do it like that, even though it's a little weird, you will remember it better and relock it in better. Each one of the steps is critical to your success so you can lock that memory in. And that's all you have to do on pages 12. Read the first 3 pages, then follow the steps, do them in order, but do every step to make it work much better. Now the next section we're going to talk about is 2 things. It is both on page 17, memory mining, and then also music mining. They're the same. One is just about memories that pertain to TV shows, actors in movies, or just movies in general. Any event that may have happened in the 70s, the 80s, or even back in the 50s. So what you're doing is you're going back 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and you're actually going back to things that you knew something about. I used to watch the show MASH, and I love that show. And I thought about that show before I had started this program and developed the memory system. And what happened was I could only name a few of the characters and a few of the people that I knew their names still. But the ones that I did know their name back then, I couldn't remember them. So what happens with memory mining is different than when you see a name and you can't recall it, but you know it. What's happened here, because of the length of time when MASH was a popular show, is so many years ago that the memories that were long-term then have slightly faded a bit from your perfect long-term memory. So when you go back, you don't have to use the same systems when you can recall a current one that you knew, because that's the hippocampus not working. So it's not that your hippocampus didn't work, you didn't even know you forgot it. So when you go back, you don't have to do all the steps, you literally just re-engage the memory, and a lot of times they just lock in without doing anything, because now you brought them to the current, and it just brings that memory right up front. You can literally, in 10 minutes, recall 10 new names. And you see, in TV shows, an example, some of the people are what they call character actors, where you never knew their real name because they weren't in any other shows, they weren't famous. On MASH, that Colonel Potter was Harry Morgan. He did the show Dragnet, but I never saw that show. And when the show was on, I knew his name was Harry Morgan, but I went back to look in memory mining, I didn't know it. But I obviously do now. You know, Corporal Klinger is Jamie Farr. You know, so you know certain of the people, but Charles Winchester from the show, I never knew his real name. He didn't do anything else that I've ever seen. Trapper John, you know, there's different characters that I really never knew their real name, so you should know it, but I do, then when I go memory mining, I can remember their character name. So we've all had shows like that, or just from many years ago. You just can't remember it because it's kind of drifted to the back of your long-term memory. But when you do memory mining, you don't have to do all the steps. And literally, in a half hour, you might know 20 new names that you didn't know before, either the character actor or their real name. So it's more fun. You can do more for the punch, basically, of time. And this is the fun part, because you're always going back, if you like country music of the 60s, the 70s. If you like rock and roll in the 50s and you wanted to remember some Elvis songs, that would be something you'd go back for. If you didn't like rock music, you're never going to go back to look it up. Why? Because it wasn't anything that meant anything to you. You wouldn't have had any long-term memories about. So this steps here teach you the step-by-step method, how you go back and look, how you do your initial, what I call re-engaging, and how to help that a little bit, but you don't have to do as many steps when you just can't recall something when your hippocampus didn't work. So the hippocampus did not fail you on those. It was just memories from so far in the past. You haven't been engaged recently. Where Denzel Washington, the one you couldn't recall, you've seen him in recent movies, so you're thinking, I should know him. But the old ones, you shouldn't. So when you just re-engage them, you know, it happens. I went back to look at the 1968 Tigers when I was really a young kid. When I was then, I knew all the players, but I can only name about 5. I can name the top 15 right now in a second, and I never studied their pictures. I just read their names one time. And now, after all this time since I've done it a couple years ago, it literally, they stay in my mind. So, the last section we're going to go over is short-term memory on pages 12 through 21. Now this, our system, the Guaranteed Results Memory System, is not for short-term memory or memory problems. This is our bonus to all of our customers so we could get all of your memory good to impress your friends with short-term memory. You see, short-term memory does not have a hippocampus to recall your memories. You see, the real reason is let's say I go to a holiday party and I walk around and people always introduce themselves. Hi, my name is Chaz. Hi, my name is Bill. And 2 minutes later, 5 minutes later, I look at who I'm with and say, what was that guy's name? They don't know it either. Because Bill's name never got into any kind of long-term memory. What you have to learn is what they call short-term memory techniques and short-term memory tricks. They've written books about it, and we're giving this to you for free as an extra bonus. So on the short-term memory, we don't call them steps, we call them methods, okay? And there's 5 different methods, but the first 3 are the ones that will give you a great short-term memory that will amaze your friends. Number 4 and 5 method are just making you more powerful at it, and you can remember some extra things about that person. With short-term memory, the first thing that you never do is get it into any kind of memory where you can recall it. So when I see Bill, my first objective is to automatically say, nice to meet you, Bill. By the way, who invited you to the party, Bill? Did you have any trouble finding the place, Bill? Me and my friend got lost. But I keep putting their name into the first steps of it. And those are some of the little things that you'll learn on those 5 methods of how you regain your short-term memory success. And you probably never been good at it if you didn't know those tricks or those techniques. Now, those are the 3 systems. So you're going to start with the first one from 12 to 16, and then you're going to do the 2 ones after. You're just going to read the first pages, then you're going to take each step one at a time. And all you do is study that step 1 till you really understand it, then you go to step 2. And then you're going to do the same thing on memory mining. It doesn't have as many detailed steps, to reclaim that memory. So it's a little easier and it's actually more fun. It's no fun to not be able to recall Denzel Washington, but it's more fun when you go back to movies of the 80s or whatever that you wanted to see, or particular stars or music that you used to listen to. Now, the last two pages, number 23 and 24. 23 is where we talk about getting referrals. Now, what we do is if you refer somebody, we give you a coupon that is worth $5. But it's $5 to a person that you referred. So they're going to get $5 off the purchase, and because you're already part of our team, you give them an incentive to actually do what you've already done. Even if we didn't give them the $5, you should be referring this to everybody. What a valuable thing in your life to know that you can have a great memory to the last day of your life. Anybody that thinks that you can't improve a memory problem is wrong. You have to understand that as long as you do it before the onset of dementia and Alzheimer's, you can always fix any memory problem, whether it be where you can't remember a name from right now, whether it's memory mining or even short-term memory. Everything can be fixed, but you have to do it before the onset of both dementia and Alzheimer's. So we show you how to refer people and we help them get in a little bit. But we also tell you on that page, this is copyrighted material, and in our terms and conditions that you agree to by purchasing the Guaranteed Results Memory System, you're not allowed to share the ebook or the links to our video training like this. Why? Because it's against the law, and unfortunately, our company would have to take some kind of action. I don't think you're even that kind of person would do that. But also, if you give something to someone for free, most of the time, they just don't treat it. It didn't cost much anyways, but when they spend their own money, they have a tendency that they want to fix their memory. If somebody tried just a couple steps, they say, that thing doesn't work. We don't deserve that. And no other people that might need the memory system, we don't need people out there saying that it doesn't work, because it does, or your money back. And that's all you can ask for when you buy something. The last page is where we tell you that you can send in to get information from this if there's something you don't understand. But most importantly, we have people that will do testimonials. There are written testimonials, and you can also do a video testimonial. Now, we never pay you for the testimonial, especially if it's video or the written, but we also will pay you for your time if you shot a video. And we explain how to do it if you request that. And so it's just a fun way to tell other people how great it has been to you. And I guess the last thing I could say in my closing comments are this. This memory system, it saved my life. You see, as people, we are nothing more than the people we've known and can remember, and also the events in our life. When I saw that my grandmother had Alzheimer's and didn't know my mom, she wasn't my grandma anymore. So remember, 1 out of every 3 senior citizens in America dies of Alzheimer's. And don't let that be you. So protect your memory now by doing all the steps correctly and make your memory way better than it is and dramatically improve your memory for the rest of your life. And I just want to say, enjoy every reclaimed memory and have a blessed day and a blessed life. And thanks again.